Welcome to Haunt Weekly.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this is Haunt Weekly, a weekly podcast for the haunted attraction and entertainment community. Whether you're an actor, owner, or just plain aficionado, we aim to be a podcast for you. Mm-hmm. And we return to you this week with probably our least prepared episode ever.
I think you've been saying that for the past 3 weeks.
Well, it is haunt season. It's among our, and it's in this collection.
Yeah, it is.
It's you know what? There's a YouTube channel I like called Technology Connection. They do No Effort November.
Uh-huh.
I think we should do No Effort mid-October through mid-November. I.e. haunt season, plus we're dead anyway.
Yeah.
So we don't have effort to spare.
So we're just going to name it now instead of just doing it?
Yeah, basically.
Gotcha.
But anyways, yes, indeed, we are coming at you with an episode. We're going to talk about how our shut up. It's No Effort November.
No, I'm just laughing because by naming it, you've actually put effort into naming it. So it's more effort than not naming it.
You're lucky I'm so exhausted I can't bury you in the backyard. The fuck were we talking about?
You were doing the intro.
Anyways, if you want some actual episodes with a little bit of effort, please visit us at all the places we exist. We're at HauntWeekly.com, HauntWeekly on Twitter, HauntWeekly on Facebook, YouTube.com/HauntWeekly, and anywhere you get your finer podcasts from. Okay, so real fast, we know this is an even number episode.
Yes.
And even number episodes are supposed to do conference reminders.
Uh-huh.
Problem with that is we did not get time to go through and update the conference reminders. So I'm just going to take a minute to remind everyone that this weekend, November 10th through the 11th in Salem, Massachusetts, it's Legendary Haunt Tour. They will be visiting Haunted Overload, Fright's Kingdom, and Barrett's Haunted Mansion. Get more details, legendaryhaunttour.com. There you go. Conference reminders.
Yeah. Done.
Done, yeah. And seriously, it's this weekend. If you haven't made plans to go, I don't know if we're fucking helping anything here.
Yeah, I think they've probably...
They're either going or not going. Let's be honest. We're not going to be there because we're dead. No. I am incapable of thinking.
Yeah.
Which is going to make this episode a ton of fun. But every week we do ask a question of the week. And this time around it's no different. Last week's question of the week was, what has changed the most from previous seasons? And the answers were uplifting.
Yeah. I
expected to hear some bitching, some moaning, and no, everyone came through. I mean, just to spill the lead, everyone said that the guests were significantly more polite and more kind.
Yeah.
And, okay, go ahead.
No, it's just interesting.
It's interesting, especially, and I was really worried about this, because in the run-up to Halloween, when we opened, right at Halloween, we'd been hearing from haunt actors in the area, including some very close to us, that they were taking a lot of verbal abuse. Not so much violence.
Right.
But a lot of verbal abuse. And verbal abuse has hurt, too. In fact, one actor we know... had to leave the job. They had taken so much verbal abuse while working Q line at a local haunt. And so we were genuinely worried. And I was going to be in that new mask, which is one of the things we're going to talk about over the course of the next hour. And I was very worried about taking that kind of abuse for 3 hours. I just didn't know if my mental health could handle it. I've had rough mental health this past year in general. And 9 hours of verbal abuse from guests was not going to help anything.
No.
No matter, even though, realistically, insults, that type of thing doesn't get to me. But still, it would not have been nice. But no, everyone was great.
Yeah.
Spoiler, we agree. I guess it's not a spoiler when we're actually at the part where we talked about.
Yeah.
I agree with everyone. Everyone was incredibly nice. We had no issue. We had one guest who was a little bit rude, but it was gently corrected. And immediately flipped the script and became right as rain.
Yeah. And for the first time, I think, ever, I was touched in the haunt. Yes. No, this is the second time.
Yeah, I'm usually the one that gets impacted, but we'll more on that later, too.
Yeah.
But honestly, I was surprised, though. Everyone talks about how, we've got comments from Christine Campbell, Victor Ruelas, Basically, a lot of people here saying that everyone was sweet and wonderful. God, Brian Page,
Yeah.
Brian Page adding, though, the dramas with the actors. I might have a little bit to think about that, too. I might agree with that a little bit, too.
There's a little bit.
Oh, yeah, it is a little bit. And also, Jeremy Beck has said that the customers were more touchy, and you just noted you got touched, though. That was a one-off incident, really.
Yeah, it was.
And I think that was that person's genuine fear react.
Yeah.
I don't think they were, like, looking to fuck with you, is what I mean.
No, they weren't. I should have stopped them then, and I realized that afterwards, but...
Well, it also happened incredibly quickly from what you described. I have not gone back and looked at the security footage of it, but from what you described, it happened so fast, I don't know if you would have had a chance.
Yeah.
Other people, Tim Fowler said the volume of high-quality home haunts in SoCal is great, and that's something we've heard from a lot of people, is that if you want to see haunted houses in Southern California, go to the home haunts.
Yeah.
I mean, they have pro haunts there. There's some of them are known to be pretty good, but everyone talks about the home haunt game there. Mm-hmm. Almost no one talks about the pro haunts, at least outside that sphere. So, hey, if you're from SoCal, correct us if I'm wrong. I'm curious. Yeah. I've never been to Southern California during haunt season.
So are we answering this week, or are we waiting?
Oh, I mean, part of it is we did answer it. We said that, everyone was so nice. We agree.
Yeah.
But what else was different this year?
Oh, this year? I thought we were talking about, like, in general.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about more how haunting has changed in the time we've been around.
Oh, okay.
I think that's going to be a future episode. And we talked about that a little bit.
That's why I was asking.
Yeah.
You can tell that we really prepared.
Yeah. Well, and that is on the future episode card, is how haunting has changed. And I think it may actually be a two-parter, where we do one section about positive ways it's changed, and one about ways it kind of chaps our ass a little bit.
Yeah.
Basically, since so many of y'all said you love Ranty Jonathan episodes, that is a free super ranty episode coming on the horizon. Yeah. So, just warning you of that one. That when we talk about that way haunting have changed for the worse, I've got some thoughts. Mm-hmm. Trunk or treat and go suck. But anyways, anywho, so yeah, this week's question of the week, and I think this will kick us directly in to our conversation this week. What was your favorite moment from the 2023 haunt season? Like, did you have one?
Okay, go ahead.
Well, for me, and like I said, I just came up with this question, so I haven't.
Yeah, I know.
I've had about as much time.
I've heard it.
I've had as much time to think about it as you this go around. So, like I said, we didn't do a full show notes this time, or even partial show notes, really. Mm-hmm. But no, for me, there was an incident where a group got scared in our last room. Mm-hmm. They ran out. It was two girls. They were later teens, so they were basically the size of full-ass adults, crashed into each other and spilled onto the concrete outside. And I walked over a little bit panicked because it looked like they hit pretty hard, It was did not look like a gentle tumble in the moment.
No.
And so I kind of went over there and I'm like, okay, are y'all okay? And they couldn't get up because they were laughing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that they were laughing and celebrating that they got through, and it was just this you could see the ecstasy on their face, even though they were literally rolling in the dirt in front of the exit of our haunt. I mean, Jesus Christ, get up and celebrate. You're on the ground, but regardless, that is like the perfect roller coaster moment. Oh, Jesus Christ, are they okay? Followed by the absolute joy of the haunt and what it does and what it brings. That was such a great roller coaster moment.
Yeah, that is a great story. And I love those stories of people going through it, because there were so many people that their fear react was laughing, which is I personally am a fan of. That's my dad.
That's your dad. You grew up with that as part of it.
So I know that they're scared. They're not laughing at us. They're laughing because they're scared and they don't want to show it.
Yeah, it's the nervous laughter.
Yeah, but I think one of my favorite moments was when the misadventures of Team AJ came through, and we got Aaron to say schniznets because we got him.
We got him, boys and girls. Wrap it up. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, there were lots of great little things throughout, including, bonding with new actors and just working as a team.
Yeah, but individual moments like that, it's often hard to nail those. But yeah, no, let us know. What was your favorite moment of the 2023 Haunt season? Let us know. HauntWeekly.com, HauntWeek on Twitter, HauntWeek on Facebook, Haunt Weekly on X. See, that just sounds stupid, Elon. Do you realize how stupid that sounds now? And of course, Haunt Weekly, wherever you get your podcast from. So anyways, so yeah, 2023 is in the books for us. In fact, by the time we're recording this, it's probably in the books for pretty much everyone. Yeah. Because even Flashlight Nights are done, though I know at least 2 haunts locally will be doing some kind of horror Christmas show. Yes. And we know another haunt, Rise, is doing a straight Christmas show.
Yeah, and I think that Dark Woods is also doing...
yeah, they do a Christmas show too. But I meant like Southeast Louisiana. Yeah, I'm in Southeast Louisiana. Yeah. But no, yeah, Dark Woods is doing one. And if we travel up that way, we'll probably check it out. I mean, I don't think I've ever been to a non-horror show at a Christmas show at Haunted Attraction. No. So I'm a little curious. And I know the way both Rise and Darkwood build and are. So even though I'm not a Christmas guy... Yeah. Never really have been. I mean, yeah, I loved Christmas as a kid. Everyone did. Family, presents. You didn't because it tried to kill you. I know. Yeah. Look, it is not Christmas's fault that you have a deathly allergy cedar that didn't go diagnosed until you were pretty much in your teens.
Yeah. It's not, but
we're going to blame it anyway. Yeah. Because that's what we do.
It also made it not my favorite holiday.
And that's totally fair. But no, I mean, I did enjoy Christmas. I want to be clear in case my parents were listening that, no, you didn't screw me up. Christmas. I turned on Christmas as an adult. Yeah. Which I think, honestly, is a perfectly rational and reasonable response.
Yeah, and if you want to blame me for that, you can, because it's around the time I showed up.
No, I think that's a coincidence. I started hating the fact that for the entire month of December, I couldn't drive anywhere. Uh-huh. Because it just got fucking impossible to get anywhere without dealing with bad drivers and doing standard things. Like, it's gotten a little better now that we do so much with delivery and all that. But, like, going shopping for groceries... became this big ordeal. And it just... anyway. Moving on. This isn't a Christmas podcast. We got to focus up. We got to focus up here. But yeah. No. So everyone's season should be in the book. So we're going to talk about ours. As we discussed previously, we're open 3 nights this year. We are most years. Every year pretty much. Friday, Saturday, and Halloween night. So that was Friday, Saturday, Tuesday. Right off the bat... just to get like the numerical stuff out of the way. Right. Because I want to get, and it's a little bit of bad news there. One thing that was disappointing is that we were down over last year.
Yeah, and that's something that was noted in the comments for the question of the week, is that a lot of people saw a downtick. Yeah. But the problem for me is that, and those who've been following us for a while know, that we were unable to open 2019, 2020, 2021. 2019, road closure, no way to open. 2020, 2021, take a fucking guess. Yeah. No points awarded for figuring that one out on your own. So those 3 years hurt us. In 2022, we came back, and in 2022, we were way down compared to 2018. We were down by about half. But I had figured 2022 was going to be rough. Yeah. We would rebound, and then it would pick back up in 2023, and that didn't happen. No, and I'm not really sure why.
I think I have some theories on why. One of them is I've heard from multiple sources they were confused by our verbiage on our site and our media about children. Which, I'm surprised anybody reads that because
they hadn't in the past.
Exactly. And it never... Same fucking verbiage from 2018, but I think people are actually reading it and focusing on it. Like, we had a good friend of ours say they didn't come by because they had their 11 and 13-year-old. Yeah. Well, they probably would have been just fine. We meant, we don't allow small children. But the problem is, we really mean no carried children. Yeah. Because that's a safety issue. Adults trip. Adults fall.
Adults scare react and drop their baby.
Unfortunately, terrifying shit that's happened in our haunt. Do not like that sound for Sam I am. But So, yeah, we don't want carry children, and we don't want crying children either. But if your kid can walk and they can handle it, and I've seen 4 and 5-year-olds walk through this haunt, take the full scares brunt on, and come out just smiling and grinning like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, their parents are flipping their fucking butter and crumpet. I mean, they're losing their shit.
Yeah.
But the kids are fine. I mean, I've seen that many, many times. So, I mean, basically what I tell parents is if the kid can walk and go through safely, I'm not paying their therapy bills. You know?
Yeah.
You determine the level of trauma you want your kid to have. We'll do the no scare version. But
yeah, lots of times when kids get in and they get scared in the first room, they don't freeze, they don't surrender, they just run.
Yeah. That's of the 4 Fs, I would say flight is by far the most common fear reaction.
Yeah, now I did have one kid who came in with 2 of his other kids, his friends, and they were probably around 10. And I did my little thing, and he's like, "Can I leave?" Because his friends had talked him into coming in.
And he suddenly thought,
and I'm like, "Yeah, you can go right out." And then they went through, and he was
one of the ones that
he went in and went through with his mom.
Yeah. So I think that's part of it. I think maybe some messaging is confusing. That even though it wasn't confusing previously, a lot changes in 3 years, and we didn't get a chance to adapt or notice the changes because we were closed.
Yeah,
I think that's some of it. I also think a lot of it is this year promotion was a bit wonky because we were doing so much haunt work in October, and we've been over this in the previous episodes. We wanted to start earlier but couldn't because of extreme heat, because of marsh fires polluting air, making the air unbreathable, just a whole bunch of problems we had, which kept pushing back when we could earnestly begin. And so we basically had to YOLO this like we were in our 20s again.
Yeah, I mean...
And that's actually quite a good analogy.
Yeah, because I'm going to be posting the Cryptids gallery, because I painted several large paintings, and over like a 3 or 4 day period.
Yeah.
And for the size of the paintings, because they're at least 2 of them are 6 foot tall. That's kind of insane.
Yeah. Well, that and just doing all this tear out, all this build, all this cleanup.
Yeah, because I mean, we noticed that we weren't going to be able to start on time like we wanted to, and we still didn't change the plan of not changing
we didn't
the
scale anything
walkthrough.
back.
No.
When we probably should have.
That was on us.
But what that meant is, like, one of the things that used to happen a lot was because we started earlier, is the hardcore building would be done usually by the beginning of October or late September. And I would kind of step back a little bit so I could do the digital and the promotional stuff and work on build that while you were in there doing detail, decoration, lighting, things like that.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
No.
That did not happen. I did not get to step away really at all. I had to squeeze in what promotion I did in between sessions of working in the haunt and actively making. So that was really frustrating. But like I said, it was because this is the first full build we did since 2018. Because we completed the build for 2019, but we ended up completing it in January because we knew we were going to be closed by mid-September. But we completed it for HauntCon because HauntCon was able to visit that one.
Right.
And then we didn't have it in 2020 and 2021. And in 2022, we largely opened the haunt we had built in 2019.
Exactly.
Because nobody other than HauntCon had seen it. Us and HauntCon, that was it. So it made sense. And so this was the first full regular season we had since 2018. And yeah, we're a little bit older. And even though we got the work done, because I think the lead I'm accidentally burying here by starting with the numbers, is I think we had our best haunt ever.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe that.
I do too.
We'll get into that in a second, but I think we had our best haunt ever. We got the work done, and the outcome was incredible.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of this haunt, and we'll be sharing a pair of walkthroughs of our haunt on Haunt Weekly over the course of the week. So facebook.com/Haunt Weekly. Keep your eyes there.
Yeah, there may be a third one coming with the lights on too.
Yeah, and I want to do some specific ones to show how some of the scares were built, because I think we.
But that'll be on Haunt Weekly. That won't be for Bernie, right?
No,
Okay.
not for Bernie. Not especially.
So that's just for you.
Yeah, that's just for you guys. But anyways, yeah. So I that hurt our numbers, I think, a little bit. That fact, I did not do some of the things I knew I needed to do. Like I did not reach out to the reporters directly who have supported us in the past.
Yeah.
That was on me. But a lot of that was just, when would I have done it?
Yeah, there was a lot of time.
And the other factor we didn't consider is you started a new job.
I did.
Early October. You functionally had no time off.
No.
So, we had to cancel and ixnay the plans for a far field trip. Not that it would have worked out with our haunt build schedule this year, but we had to cancel that.
Yeah.
And there were no, hey, these are just random days Crystal and I have off where we're working.
No, there were not. And, I actually am really grateful to be in the job I'm in now, not only for my mental health, but because they were flexible with my time.
Yeah.
Like, every interview I go to for a new job, I'm like, look, October's going to be crazy. I'm going to need some time off. And they're like, go ahead, take the time you need, just make it up later in that same week. And that's what I did.
And that's, to be completely clear, is like, her job is not the problem.
No.
It's just, she had no vacation time.
Exactly.
Because she just got there.
Exactly. Usually I take off the day before opening and opening day for all of the last minute
And usually
stuff.
there's a couple of days off interspersed in there, A, for a trip, and B, just to get some extra work done.
Yeah.
None of that happened.
No.
Because usually you take like the weirdest vacation pattern in October, where you take a day off here and there, and make sure to have that day off before opening and opening day.
Yeah, and November 1st.
And November 1st. It makes for recovery. It makes no sense to anyone that doesn't know what we're doing. But that does remind me, your new boss came by the haunt.
Yes, he did.
Friday night.
Yes, he did.
And he saw what you did.
Yes.
And he probably has some questions for your mental health.
Maybe. I don't know. So he left Halloween Day for a conference and had gone again this week to a site visit.
Yeah.
So
you haven't really had a chance to catch up.
No, we haven't been in the same space since he came by.
Yeah. And that we knew that was coming. That was something that had been known for some time. But no, so now you actually have a boss that fully groks what you do and why this time is important.
The insanity of it.
This isn't fucking tarp and, and peel grapes. This is...
no. And I think this is the first boss that has come through.
Yeah, I think it is. You've had other coworkers.
I've had other coworkers, but not a boss.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
And so I'm glad that he came through. I'm glad that he brought his daughter and wife, and that he understands that this is not a little thing that we do. I mean, it is little compared to like pro size haunts, but it's a lot of effort that goes into it.
Yeah, it is a lot. Okay, but anyway, so yeah, we were down on numbers, and that was sad. But like I said, I think we had the best haunt ever.
Yeah, and I'm really sad that not more people got to see it.
Yeah, which we'll get to the end. I think we'll come back to this. It puts us in a situation where we got to kind of figure out what we're doing with it next year.
Yeah.
But let's take it room by room.
Okay.
There's 5 rooms. We're not going to count the queue line in that area yet. I'll talk more about my experiences afterward. As the inside of the haunt manager, take us through the haunt.
Okay.
Your tour.
So you start out and you come in and there's a person sitting at a table.
Yeah.
And they are making some noise and talking to you. They're welcoming you into Marnie's Marvels.
Yeah. So think of this. We called this the... I think the entrance room, the ticket room type thing.
Yeah, this is where you would give your donations if you were going to a free roadside attraction.
Or buy your ticket.
Or buy your ticket.
Yeah.
We didn't specify that because we didn't want people to get confused thinking that they had to pay to be there.
But it did feel appropriate to have a quote-unquote outside area.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So The scare in that room, while she was distracting you at the table, I would slip out from an area that really should not be able to conceal someone my size.
Not a full ass adult. Full stop. I mean,
no.
Because basically because this is all right inside the garage door.
Yeah.
And the way the garage door opens, it conceals that there is about a foot deep space between the bookshelf we were using for a wall.
Yeah.
And the little entrance L we have.
Mm-hmm.
And you, with some clever hiding, I might add.
Yeah.
Used a combination of fence fabric and a few other things.
Yeah.
By the way, fence fabric has been the great discovery.
Yeah.
For us. That shit is amazing. I'm going to buy more of it.
So if you see construction zones, that sheeting that they put on the fences, great.
It's super cheap, super light blocking, and it has grommets.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of grommets.
Yeah, now we don't use it really inside the haunt, but it is at the edge to provide a break.
And we also use it a lot in the front of the house, in the skeleton display out front.
Yeah.
It's so easy to work with. It's easy to cut. It's
so much better than what we were trying to do.
Which was weed blocker.
In the front yard.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry about that. Moving on.
That's okay.
But you would slip behind them, as you said.
I would slip behind them, and then I had a clacker that was wooden, and I would make the noise down at about hip height.
Yeah.
But I would be standing up full.
Yeah.
So.
And that clacker has been in our house for about 10 years. We bought it on a trip to Budapest. I don't remember why we bought it. But it was just one of the random pieces of kitsch we brought back from Hungary. And it's been bouncing around our house forever.
Yeah.
Wound up at my desk, and you're like, hey, this makes a very weird, and it's a very weird rattle sound.
Yeah, we're a podcast. We should have it on here.
Yeah, we should.
But
this would be a great time to actually do it, but unfortunately, neither of us thought to bring it up with us.
No, it's still in the haunt. It's still in the space that I placed it so that I wouldn't remember.
Stay tuned. Maybe next week we'll remember to bring it out and demonstrate it.
Or watch those walkthroughs.
Yeah, it's fine too.
Find it there. But yeah, so that was the first room. Is that you get a startle because I'm right up next to you.
And I'll add, like, the very first walkthrough was me.
Yeah. Because
I was doing it more of a timing check and a lighting check, last looks type thing, and I knew what you were going to do. We talked about this forever.
Yeah.
That room had been settled on what it was going to do for a long time, so I knew exactly what was going to happen. It still startled me, just because that sound is so weird, and it comes from the wrong height. Because, cause like you said, you do it down your hip, and that makes me look to the ground, and then there's this whole ass adult there. It's weird. All right, moving on, though.
Yeah, so then you pass all of the pithy signs that Jonathan created for the haunt.
I made pithy signs.
They were cute. I liked them. We needed to like them better.
Yeah,
but
that's neither here nor there.
No, not really. And then you were in like the museum area, and this was the 3D kind of sculptural museums.
Yeah,
and it was weird stuff.
And honestly, this is one of my favorite scenes we've ever done in a haunt. Because it played so much with verticality. There was stuff above you, there was stuff below you, there was stuff all around you. It genuinely was unsettling. Because you felt surrounded. Felt like you were walking under an arch of this stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like but realistically, it was only like 7 things in there.
Yeah.
But it was so well placed, it looked very full.
Yeah.
And it's a small room. Which brings us to the scare in that room.
Which is, one of our actors is 5 foot tall, and we put them into a skirt that matched,
one of the taller pieces.
Yeah, the taller pieces. As I made an 8-foot headless doll.
By taking a 4-foot headless doll that was meant to be on a tabletop and just putting it way up in the sky and hanging some black tulle from it to make it look like it was a bigger thing, and then hide our actor in the tulle.
Exactly. And they would come out and scare people.
And it was so funny because they were so convinced they could not scare people.
Yeah.
And they were getting some of the best reactions.
Yeah, and this is going to be another full episode, is if you don't think you're scary, if you don't think you can be scary or intimidating, I got news for you.
Yeah,
I can find a way.
Anybody can scare.
Exactly.
Scaring is for everyone, maybe the title of the episode or something like that.
Yeah.
Which then brings us, so after they've come out and pushed you forward. You're in the Cryptid gallery, which is where your giant paintings lived.
Yes. This is a lot of paintings. They're from local. I was worried about putting the Devil Man of Algiers into the gallery because it is a picture of a devil face.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do
religious themes
at all, but it is a local legend.
Yes, and a local cryptid, quote unquote cryptid.
I mean, it's the most local. He's in Algiers. I couldn't,
specifically our section in New Orleans.
Yeah, I couldn't leave him out.
And it was the inspiration, actually, of, if I understand it, of season 2 of Scream Queens.
Partially. It was that plus the Axeman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird thing, but anyways, he was part of that. Part of it. No.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, we had him. You asked for Lizard Man. So
Lizard Man!
I made a giant Lizard Man. He is the dorkiest looking thing I think I've ever painted.
Yeah, he does not look like a lizard.
And he's hilarious.
I like Lizard Man.
He just makes me laugh so much. And then we had Mothman on one side that we had an actor paint. And I cut a Christmas ornament in half and spray painted plastic one, spray painted the inside of it red and put it on as the eyes. And we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
And then we had a Wendigo, which was also painted by another actor. And then I did
And apparently we cause drama with the spelling of Wendigo.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many different ways to spell it.
Yeah, we learned a lot about the spelling of Wendigo, and by learning a lot, we learned nothing.
Exactly. Just don't spell it with a Y, which is what we should have done.
Yeah. Just be completely wrong.
Exactly.
Which would have fit the roadside attraction theme actually kind of well.
It would have, yeah.
And who else was there? There's one more.
There's 3 more.
Oh, sorry.
There's 3 more. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Names. There is the Rougarou at the top. There is the Luton, which is a little mischievous gnome that roams the areas of outside New Orleans. And then there is you.
Yeah, but Bernie Baxter, yeah. And that one was funny when I did the Bernie walkthrough. I got to mug up with that.
Yeah.
But the scare in this hallway is, I think, probably your masterpiece on scare hiding.
Yeah.
Because we used the barn door gag we had last year, but last year it was in a bathroom stall.
Right.
This year we made it look, or she made it look like, I didn't do shit. Made it look like it was just part of the Cryptid gallery.
Yeah.
And this was a lot of work because the actual barn door, because of the nature of the slide mechanism, is set back about 4 inches.
Yeah.
It's set back pretty significantly. So she created a custom quote-unquote frame for it. Mm-hmm. And positioned it so that while it didn't look right if you look back after you passed it,
right,
as you round the corner and are coming into that hallway, it does look like a flat painting. And so when that son of a bitch opens up, it's genuinely unsettling. And that was the scare in that room, was the actor could look through one of Mothman's eyes.
Right.
Amazing vision, by the way.
Yeah.
I've never had a boo hole, never built or been in a boo hole with better vision than that.
Yeah.
It was incredibly clear, easily see. The visibility was great. And the actor we had it working both Saturday and Monday has a laugh that is deeply unsettling.
Yeah.
We've told this actor to not do that outside the haunt. It will probably frighten small children. But it is a genuinely unsettling, and this is one you'll have to go watch the old ones because we don't have a recording of it other than the walkthroughs. But man, and that was such a good reaction, and the great thing about it is it's such a good scare forward too, because we needed that.
Right.
Because the next room was probably our weakest room, but also the room people had the hardest time getting through.
Well, okay, so we did body bags.
Again.
We did them, we haven't had them in a few years. Because it does slow down throughput, and because nobody wants to go into them. And I don't know if, but anyway, these were a little bit different because instead of using the plastic wrap or anything like that, I actually bought the cloth.
Canvas drop cloths, yeah.
Yeah, canvas drop cloths for painting, and then wrapped them in that with twine, so that they looked older fashioned, because, they
were set in the 30s and 40s anyway. was not our best room, I think.
No.
And honestly, that's where I think when we talk about what we're changing for next year, that's going to be ground zero for where we start.
That's going to have the most changes.
I feel like that needs the most changes because the fifth room was, and then that room we had an actor who was playing with the bodies and also had a hidey spot that he could come out with and scare. But the body bags really were the main focus in there ultimately, and I felt that was kind of unfair to the actor, but the actor seemed to enjoy it, so I don't know. But the final room was our pièce de résistance.
Yeah.
Exit through the gift shop.
Yes.
But in the gift shop, 2 of the shelves are not shelves.
No, they are not. They are slam walls.
And the actor who was at the table, serving as the distraction in the first room, can burst through into the fifth and scare the shit out of people that way.
Exactly.
Yeah, right there. And part of it is that made it so cool, I think so convincing, was that we actually did obtain a 1905 electric adding machine that you should never plug in unless you're trying to burn something down.
Yes, it smells like it's going to catch on fire, even though it's mostly metal.
Probably because it was going to find a way to catch on fire. I'm not sure what would catch fire, but it was putting in a valiant effort. So, yeah, but it looked very convincing. The lighting in that room hid the scare very well. It was an amazing pop through, and it's probably the best quote unquote slam wall we've ever built.
Well, yeah, for one, it's equal size.
Yeah, we realized the first one we built all those, this is over 10 years ago now. We built that one way before we ever met Ellie.
Yeah.
But that one, the sides aren't even. It was in a frame never intended to be a slam wall frame.
Right.
It was a disappearing wall frame repurposed. And it is heavy.
Yes, it is.
Even this is a light slam wall, and the lightness just makes it easy to like breach and bust, and it required significant reinforcements. All the corners ended up, not the corners of the shelves, but the corners of the actual frames ended up getting double reinforcement, metal brackets and angle cut pieces.
Yeah.
And it held up. It held up through haunt season perfectly intact. But the coolest thing I think we did was we took medicine bottles and screwed them into the frames.
Yeah.
So you're convinced this can't move because everything would go flying and get knocked off.
Yeah.
Fun fact, no. It absolutely can move very quickly. And that approach, using a washer, a screw, putting things in, held up incredibly well. Nothing came out. Nothing got dislodged. I have no notes on that. I'm really hoping we can minimize how much of that we have to tear out because it is beautiful.
Yeah.
I think we need to tear the shit out of the other slam wall and keep that one.
Yeah, well, the other slam wall might be reverted to a disappearing wall since the track's still there.
The track is still there. It still can work.
Yeah.
So that's the conversation for later. So yeah, that was the entirety of the haunt. Like I said, I think from an aesthetic standpoint, it's by far the best.
Yeah.
From a design standpoint, I see room for layout and design. I see room for improvement, which we'll talk about, but it's still the best we've done yet.
Yeah.
I mean, and considering some of the depths we plumbed in that area in our early years, it still has room there's still ceiling there. And as far as the quality of the scares, we had several people tell us that we scared them harder than like pro haunts locally did. And part of that, I think, is because that's what we target.
Yeah.
We're trying for that specific type of scare.
Exactly.
Other haunts are going for more of a mixed grab bag of scares. We only have 625 square feet. We got to focus on one thing, and then we got to go.
Yeah.
We got to target and really hit that point home if we're going to make an impression.
Yeah, I think that we, mixed up the types of scares this year.
Yeah, and we did have some of that, because like the body bag room was not a harsh startle.
Well, neither was the person moving that looked like part of the doll.
I don't know. I think that was a pretty hard...
Okay, so it wound up being a hard startle, but it wasn't a loud startle with a bang.
Yeah,
It was a, holy shit, that isn't supposed to move. Why is it so creepy?
I love the fact that, and I did see some of the security camera footages, no one spotted our actor before it was time.
No.
Even when they had to sit in a different place and just pretend to be another doll, no one figured out that they were the one that was real, quote unquote. Yeah. No one figured it out. Helped by the fact that they are only 5 feet tall and don't look, you don't look at that and go, person. They're literally the same height as the skeletons.
Yeah.
But the second thing is just that room is so disorienting.
Yeah. Now, I am going to say that my favorite thing that I hid in that room, and that, whenever I took my family on a virtual walkthrough of it, they burst out laughing, was a CPAP nose piece and hose, an old one that I had saved specifically to use in the haunt.
Just didn't know how.
I knew it was going on a face somewhere, and it is in that room.
Yeah.
On a really tall, like an 11-foot tall.
Yeah, one that's in the ceiling, one of the vertical ones.
Yeah.
And it worked really well. I mean, it does hilarious. It's hilarious, but because we know where it's from, but it also doesn't look out of place in the room.
Oh, no.
Especially with the lighting
creepy,
and the ambiance, it looks just creepy.
And that actually has the stupid little mask that you got off of Wish or Temu or whatever.
Temu,
that was supposed to be
a high-end CFX mask.
Yeah.
And
was like
not
crap.
we actually did an unboxing of that. I think during the pandemic years we did an unboxing of that because I bought like a supposedly $600 mask off of Wish or Temu or whatever for like $12.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be crap.
I knew it was going to be crap. It was just fun. But then everyone started worrying me, like, well, don't put it on because you don't know what they coat it with. And I've heard people get injured putting on cheap masks. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, what did I do? I just wanted to laugh at the mask quality.
Yeah, and we did.
And we did. We ended up working out. But yeah, but the thing is that everything worked. Everything worked very well. Our actors were great.
Yeah.
I have no real notes in terms of actor quality or actor performance. It worked great. Out in front, I was Bernie, but Bernie with a new look.
Yes.
Bernie has a new mask this year. He has a mask from, I think it was Shattered Effects?
Maybe.
I think it was Shattered Effects. I bought the mask from. It was an old man mask. We combined it with the rest of the traditional Bernie attire, the tailed coat, the top hat, the cane, the pretty princess gloves that I have to locate every year.
Yeah.
And then apparently still forgot I had another pair after the pair I was using got damaged. So I kept using the damaged pair.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's probably best, honestly. That one can be saved for next year because for some reason, pretty princess gloves in like adult man size are not easy to find.
They are becoming harder, yes.
But regardless, I was worried because I did not get time to really train in the mask.
Right.
We had done several shoots with it and things, but so I'd gotten pretty comfortable getting on and off. Did not have any idea how it would work over 3 to 4 hours a night. The answer was fine. It really was. And in fact, it's kind of weird. Like putting the mask on, the initial shock was really bad. And especially that first night, I had choking and I had other issues where I wasn't getting it. But once I got going in it, I didn't notice it was there. I would legit forget I had a mask on.
Good. I'm glad to hear that because we haven't actually talked about this.
Yeah.
Was your comfort.
I legit would forget I had it on.
Yeah.
And so it used to be kind of the opposite. Like throwing it on was super comfortable. Using the old DOA or the DOA thin mask. Throw it on. It's super easy. Go. Do your shtick. And then by the end of the night, I'd be so annoyed at it. It's like, rip this thing off, slam it against the wall. I never want to see this thing again. Yeah. Type thing. With this, with the higher end mask, I legit got better and better and better as time went on. It got more and more comfortable. And part of that was because, since it was so form-fitting, I didn't have the problem of all my spittle and sweat being trapped in, like, the face area of the mask.
Yeah.
And so, like, it used to be after Halloween, I would take the mask off and just get drenched in a shower of my grossest fluids.
Yeah.
And it was not pleasant. That did not happen. Pleasant. The only complaint I have with the mask is that it got a couple of minor tears in it.
Yeah.
And I don't believe I did anything inappropriate. And there are tears in places that are natural weak points. There's a very, very tiny one in the corner of the left eye. And one in either corner of the mouth. Now, the mouth did receive a lot of adjustment because, like I said, I have GI issues, and part of that is an oversensitive gag reflex. And so I had to occasionally adjust the throat to make sure it wasn't putting too much pressure there, and that required reaching in because I couldn't get in underneath the way the costume was.
Right.
So yeah, and I know that's not what you're supposed to do. The company does offer free repairs.
Mm-hmm.
So we're probably going to send it off for that purpose.
Yeah.
But it's also something that if we're not able to repair it, I'm not going to really worry about it because neither tear is very visible while the mask is being worn.
No, it's not.
And especially if we put a little paint on the ones in the corner of the mouth.
Honestly, the ones in the corner of the mouth look like old man drool.
Yeah, it's true too. We could either paint them to match the lips, the rest of the lips, or whatever. But I mean, honestly, I don't consider that a huge deal. I'm a little saddened about it, just because we did pay so much, and we do not do large haunt expenses.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it still worked incredibly well, and I was very worried about the comfort of that mask over a long period of time, because we had done, like I said, shoots and things, and I knew that, like, for the first 30 minutes, it was fucking miserable.
Yeah.
But that's just it. Once it settles, once it adheres, and it got better as the nights went on, too. I think it sort of morphed a little bit more to my face and stopped putting pressure on some of the specific points. So, like, Halloween night, I almost didn't take the mask off for the post, chat.
Yeah.
Just because I can get it on me really easy. I still haven't mastered the art of getting it on the head form.
Yeah.
I have not mastered that. I am not good at that part. I can get it on me like that. I'm now really, really good at that. It's just grab by the chin, yank, pull back. You'll lose some hair in the process. And we've tried wearing, like, caps and rags and things, but those mask is so tall, it just rips that off of me and makes things worse. But no, the mask itself worked out great. Front of house was very, very smooth overall. I really don't have anything to add running front of house. Obviously, I did make one boo-boo. We're supposed to have one group in at a time. I let one group in before another had left. I thought they had left.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the thing, is I'm trying to watch the queue. I'm trying to watch the exit. It may have been, one of our actors.
Well, and we were trying to increase the throughput too.
We were running. That was when we were running one of our longest lines.
Because we were running line, and we were not doing our every group check.
Yeah.
Of ready.
Yeah.
So we'll have to revisit that.
Well, and I think I've got a solution for it. I think I've got a pretty easy solution, which is put some kind of trip at the exit. Not trip line, but like a laser trip or something to let you know when people exit.
Yeah, because, something that makes a sound that you can hear.
Because the much more common problem, though not as serious of a problem, is people would leave and I would not see them leave.
Yeah.
And a lot of that was because, I swear to shit, some people teleported.
They do.
It was like I put them in the entrance, and it's 5 rooms. It only realistically takes a minute or two to go through, but that's a long time, depending upon what you're doing out front.
Yeah.
And so some of them, I swear, you put them in the entrance, and they just magically appeared at the exit. Like, I guess that they heard the clack and just ran.
Pretty much, yeah.
And, I mean, the bodies didn't slow everyone down. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Well, and the thing is that, I stayed a room behind, but if I saw that they were stopping at the bodies, I would round the corner.
Yeah.
They'd look at me and take off again.
Yeah. One thing that I just realized, we only had 2 things break this year.
Yes.
One of the boards on the queue line.
Yes, one of the boards on the queue line, which has been out in the weather for 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
And then the very enthusiastic slam shut instead of slam open of the sliding door, Mothman door.
Yeah, it broke our...
broke the little stopper off.
So we replaced the board. We had spares, like literally 5 feet away from it. Yeah. Just because that's where we happened to store that wood. And the stopper, we engineered with 2x4 technology, we engineered a much better stop that also has the benefit of lining up the door exactly where it needs to be for the illusion.
Exactly. Because the actor that we had in there was not sure where to pull it to and was exposing the other side of it. But this solved all the problems.
Yeah, so, and luckily both of those things happened on Saturday. It was so weird because like Friday, everything went so smooth. Nothing broke. We had a decent crowd Saturday. Now we were up Friday compared to last year. Nothing broke. We had no repairs to make. And then Saturday, those 2 things, and something else broke too, I thought, inside. But regardless, everything broke within like 5 minutes of each other.
Yeah. No, I think that the only other thing that happened was that one of the staples came out for my little hidey hole.
Okay.
And I had to put it back.
I knew there was another super minor repair, but that doesn't even count. Like a staple coming out doesn't even count.
No.
If the impact driver isn't involved, I'm probably not counting it.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Because staples, it's gonna staple.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I'm surprised they held the other things in the haunt as well as they did.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was like that random sheet you had. I was just convinced that was going to not be long for the world.
Piece of cheesecloth.
Yeah, it made it the whole season.
It did.
You just had a piece of cheesecloth to kind of provide an obscuring thing on the walkthrough, and it held up.
And there was one oopsie doopsie on the walkthrough with that you'll share from the other YouTubers. We didn't have the lights on in the back hallway.
Yeah.
And that was just a miscommunication between us.
Yeah, yeah. I think that may be, because our plan right now, this is where we'll talk about the future, I guess. We'll slide into that.
Yeah, because we've got, we're at 50.
Yeah, I know. We need to start wrapping things up.
Yeah.
Things I want to change moving forward, one of them is I want to avoid things that aren't plugged in as much as possible.
That's a good idea.
Which is a problem because our sound boxes, our individual room sound boxes, which work great, are all battery. And we had lights in that hallway were battery, which is how we forgot to turn them on.
Yeah.
Everything else comes on with the haunt lights. It's haunt lights up, house lights up. You know, whichever you bring up is what you have. And so everything else came up with the haunt lights but that. And sound, so I'm going to find some way to power those or to power something like it for the individual room sounds. Because even though the boxes work great, I'm relying on battery products as an Achilles heel of ours, because not so much because batteries are bad, but just because they're bad for us. We forget.
Yeah, but I mean, the sound is different than the lights.
I agree with that.
Because the lights, it's still light outside when we're setting everything up.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to notice if there's a light missing. But if you're walking through a quiet haunt, you know that the sound's not on.
Yeah. And
then you just do it all at the same time. But these were the only lights that required individual setting.
Yeah. And they had to be set with one of those stupid RGB remotes that...
Yeah, but we got them on the other 2 nights without any problems. Yeah. It was just that first night.
Yeah. All in all, I mean, I'm very happy with the haunt. And I'm with you in that I want to put our focus on the exit hallway, rooms 4 and 5. We need to fix the flow of the rooms.
Yeah.
We need basically... Because what we did in the first 2 rooms, one of the things we didn't talk about, was we shrunk the rooms up. So we could put hard, i.e. walls, as line of sight barriers. Like you walk into the first room, you can't see into the second room.
No.
And the second room can only see a tiny little bit into the back hallway.
Right.
And that worked so great because it created that sense of wonder when you rounded the corner of the first room and you enter that museum piece. You're going from a very relatively sparse room to shit everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's such a great dichotomy. I loved it. So I want to give that treatment to the back hallway where you can't see the way to go, because our thought was we won't do that this year. We'll use body bags as our line of sight break. That doesn't work.
No. Well, and there's some mechanisms that are in place there that need to come out to open the room up some, and it's just like that third room is really my
the fourth room, the one after the hallway.
Yeah. Well, it's the room, not the hallway.
True. Too. Third room. Anyways, fourth zone, third room, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's.
Yeah, but I will say that I also really enjoyed having headsets with earpieces.
Oh God, I forgot about that, because that was something else that was brand new. We introduced walkie-talkies with headsets, and I was able to wear mine underneath the high-end mask.
Right, and with your sometimes hearing issues, it was much easier to communicate with you directly.
Yeah, so much better. Like, that is not, that is a lesson we are not going back on. We're not sleeping on those headsets again.
Yeah.
We'd always use just walkie-talkies, like handheld.
Yeah.
And it would work, but this is so much easier, especially when I can just, like, press a button on my lapel.
Yeah.
And go, we got people coming in. Or
it's less obvious to the people coming up.
Yeah, exactly. It's less obvious to the people coming up. And it's so much easier to do, especially when you have gloves on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I can find the button with gloves on. I couldn't always extricate the walkie-talkie from the pocket, flip it right side up, and get, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So much faster to go boop boop and be done. So yeah. All in all, great haunt season.
Yeah.
The customers were amazing and kind. We had a bit of a weird flippity floop. What's that?
I forgot that I didn't mention, like, I actually talk about being touched.
You didn't get real fast.
Yeah, real fast. So lady comes in, I get behind her, do the noise, and she just goes, "Oh, hell no," and pushes me, like, in the chest. And not hard or anything, not trying to hurt me, just, "Oh, hell no," and, like, get away from me. So.
Yeah, and the way you made it sound at the time and now also, it sounds like it was a fear react.
Yeah.
Not, like I said, someone maliciously trying to fuck with our actors or anything. We didn't have any of that this year.
Yeah.
Everyone came to have fun.
So both times that I have been touched in the haunt, because I've only been touched twice, were in the tent.
Go for the big target.
Anyway.
But yeah, so yeah, like I said, I'm very happy with how the haunt came out. I'm looking forward to sharing those walkthroughs on Haunt Weekly as the week goes on. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm very happy with the haunt. I'm just sad more people didn't see it. So one of the things we're debating is how much do we really change and redecorate?
Yeah.
Because I think, we don't need to change much in the layout, especially on the first half.
No.
We need to break up the layout on the second half some, but that's a separate issue. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't want to say we're going to keep it the same, because we're not. We're obviously not. Mm-hmm. But I don't think we need to do the full kind of reno that we did this year with it.
No.
And we're going to start, the other rule we have is that we're going to start work on it in December.
Yeah.
We're probably going to take November off. At least a lot of it.
Yeah.
But once temperatures really start dropping around Thanksgiving, we're going to be out there working and trying to get as much of this done as we can before 2024, so that way we don't put ourselves through this year, and we can do the things we need to do to try to get better numbers and all that.
Yeah.
All in all, like I said, it was never slow. No. We were down on numbers, but it was spread out in such a way we never felt slow. All in all, it was a great year. I'm very happy with how it turned out. There was a lot of frustration and a lot of headache getting there. Mm-hmm. And there were definitely some moments where I was just really unhappy with the experience of building it.
Yeah.
But I can't argue with results, and the results are great. Mm-hmm. So that was 2023 season for us. Please, let us know how your season was. Answer the question of the week. Follow us at the places we exist. That includes HauntWeekly.com, HauntWeekly on Twitter, HauntWeekly on Facebook, and YouTube.com/HauntWeekly. I think we're going to leave it there. I don't know what next week's episode is going to be. Maybe one of the ones we talked about, maybe something different. But until next time, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And we will see you all next week with an episode that may require at least a modicum more effort. See y'all then.